Hi everyone, number one Marmaduke fan here. I promised to share some more examples of my work as an art tutor on this channel, and I think what I'm going to do is, if there isn't like a really clear story that's easy to understand, then that'll go on this uncut channel, because I'll kind of use that to walk you through what the drawings are. You might be interested in children's art, even if you're not interested in children's art. I think this is kind of an interesting way of thinking about how storytelling works. So let me tell you a little bit about the work I was doing. So I was at a church and I was asked to help watch some special needs children. And on one day, like the young person was very bored and I didn't have any drawing paper. So I grabbed a magazine that was just available and got a nice Sharpie marker and asked the child if he wanted to draw. And I think the first couple things were just sort of warm-up drawings, and then gradually the child started telling me a story which gets reflected in the drawing. So I'll kind of just walk you through what our drawing session looked like. So I started out by just drawing this angry lady climbing a mountain. I believe the child's parent might have drawn what looks like Mike Wazowski freaking out. And the child's first drawing is this little figure. And this child had a little difficulty communicating verbally, but what was clear was this was supposed to be a drawing of a person in a cave or in a dark tomb or cellar. And so we kept going, just drawing like little characters. So I drew a little monster with a top hat. And then the child drew what I think looks like a face. I drew a monkey. I drew, what do I call this guy? I call this guy Bad Bum. He was created by a 6-year-old, and I kind of love it. So I sometimes draw Bad Bum as a way of breaking the ice with a kid. He's just like a chubby little Batman character. And then the child drew this really interesting kind of monstrous creature with almost a balloon-like body. And I'm really interested in the variety of strokes in this. I believe the child was using kind of a heavy grip. And so this meant that there's some really heavy portions of the drawing as well as lighter portions of the drawing. So I drew my interpretation of what this monster might be. And sometimes that's a way I use of kind of like, breaking with the ice with the child or showing that I'm interested in what they're drawing and I'm interested in interpreting it, and gives me a chance to kind of like ask them questions about the creature. And then finally the child started telling me the story. So this was the child's first drawing, and I asked questions like, where is this? Who are the people? What's happening in this drawing? And the child explained that the creature in the middle is a beast or a monster, and that the monster has eaten a child and the child is in the monster's belly. So I drew my own interpretation of that. After asking the child some more questions, the child started talking about a character named Darth Ello. And Darth Ello would fight a lot of people with a lightsaber, and the child would make lightsaber noises and do kind of like, the phew, phew, that kind of a thing. So Darth Ello is clearly like this child's way of describing like, big exciting lightsaber battles. So I drew what I thought Darth Ello might look like, and I asked the child, what does Darth Ello say? What does Darth Ello want to do? And the child says, I want to go places and fight. Now, after I drew Darth Ello, I asked the child if this is what Darth Ello looked like, and the child said no. So I asked the child to show me what Darth Ello looked like, and the child drew a really big, black smudge right on top of Darth Ello. So I took that to mean that Darth Ello is kind of like a big shadowy character. So I started drawing Darth Ello as a big black smudge. I wrote, Darth Ello fights the people eating, because at this point the child was really excited describing the fight scene, and I couldn't quite capture it all. But I think the gist of it was that whoever was eating, Darth Ello was fighting them with the lightsaber. After that, the child started a new story, and the child drew this little character with kind of like a funny expression, sort of like a little cartoon character. And he said, Maki Hoho is a girl. She could fly. Maki Hoho goes down into the cellar. She finds a beast. The beast ate her. She was covered in darkness. She gets cursed to be a hot girl. And she went to the store. She meets Darth Ello. So I have drawn Maki Hoho on the left, and the child has drawn Darth Ello on the right with a lightsaber. And then the child explains, they fight! And the child drew all of these fight scenes on these 2 pages. And he said, at home, she sees her friend, Anna. Darth Ello fell into a black hole. So when I showed this to the child's mother, she explained that her child was really fascinated by the idea of characters going into caves and cellars or bad guys falling into black holes. And despite the child's difficulty communicating, this was a recurring theme in all the stories that he liked to tell. And it was really interesting to me that after a little bit of conversation with the child, I was kind of able to piece together what the parts of the story were. After that, we just did some, assorted drawings. I think this is the child's drawing of Maki Hoho here, and another one here with a little smile. I drew a few kind of like simple shape monsters to see if I could prompt the child to tell another story. But I think he was tired of all the stories after the lightsaber battle and Darth Ello falling into the black hole. So after that, I just drew a few more shapes, and I think I gave the child asked for some of the drawings to take home, so I gave those to him. And here's one of a sad little doofus on one of these magazine pages. So if you're ever stuck and you don't know how to entertain a child, grab some old magazine or grab some scrap paper that's going to be thrown away, grab a Sharpie marker, and just see what happens. Just see what happens. You might be surprised what a kid has to tell you. I worked with this same special needs child a few other times. I don't know if I have all those stories, but I'll share what I find from my other work as an art tutor as I find it. So that's it. With that, I'm number one Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more examples of my work as an art tutor. The very best stories, the ones that are easiest to understand without me explaining what's going on in the drawings, those are going to be on my regular channel, number one Marmaduke fan. With that, I love you guys, and I'll catch you later.